Hey, YouTube, it's me, and I'm here today to give you another review. I only got 10 views on my Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine movie review, and that's okay. I don't really expect many views on my YouTube channel because I don't have a lot of people who really look at it. But anyway, this is I don't watch a lot of TV shows, but I did give House of the Dragon a chance because of being such a fan of the original Game of Thrones series. So I have watched the two seasons, and recently, I think it was last Sunday, was the season two finale. So I want to recap and review that. And I'm gonna just kind of give a general like review of how I think it's going as a fan, from a fan. And here we go. So um, the first season was slow starting, and it wasn't like the first season of the original Game of Thrones. And then the differences being that it took me a really long time in season one just to get to know the names of the important characters. And I'm still struggling with that. I mean, it's been two seasons and I'm still struggling with names, which wasn't a problem in the original Game of Thrones. For some reason, the names just like hit me a lot easier and stronger in the original Game of Thrones series. But it took me by season two, I started getting the names. And so like the main characters are Queen Rhaenyra, Daemon, Alicent, and her son Aegon. And the dragons have names, but the only one for some reason I can remember is Dreamscape or Dream something because it has the word dream in it. I don't know the other dragons' names. And then there's a lot of characters. And I still don't know their names. Sorry. I'm just really struggling with names even after two seasons. Um, and that bothers me because I really like to get into characters and character developments and character purpose. And when I don't know their names, it's like I look and I know kind of like what their general character is, but and it's really something's like wrong with seasons. I should know their names. I don't know what the heck is going on. So, um, I don't know when season three is going to come out or if it is even popular enough that we're going to get a season three because, like Stranger Things was super, super popular and they keep promising us one more season, but I still don't see it on Netflix and I haven't seen any advertisements about one last season of Stranger Things. So same thing with The Witcher. It's like everybody was loving The Witcher, and then they said Liam Hemsworth was going to take over, and we were going to get at least one more season. I haven't heard anything about Stranger Things. I haven't heard anything about The Witcher, and I don't know if that's what's going to happen to House of the Dragon, but it just looks like the season finale is like putting us on a really long pause. So if you're fans of the fantasy genre, I don't know, like if you're like me, I mean, we don't have Stranger Things, we don't have The Witcher, and we don't have House of the Dragon now until season three. That's a bummer because like I went and tried to watch some of Blood Origins, which is pretty cool. I'm not gonna say it isn't. It's pretty cool. But I haven't really got into that because I was really too busy to be watching TV. Um, but I did stick with House of the Dragon to watch what was going on, and the season finale was very interesting. They wrapped things up really, really well. I'll give them that. But what I felt about it was that there was sort of this like for the main characters, there was a lot of confusion for the main characters. Like Queen Rhaenyra was the only one who was consistent as far as, okay, we know she still wants to be queen. She's doing everything in her power to be strategic, and she's still claiming it's in the name of peace, even though we all know that that's ludicrous. But and she's done everything strategic that she can to assert her power for her throne. So she's consistent. Allison is like totally wiped out. She, after her son's Aegon's accident, and it's like she's like this. It's like she doesn't even want to be bothered with anything. She just wants to like run away. That's really flaky character development, but okay. Damon is doing some weird stuff. It's like first we think he's going to like just push Rhaenyra out of the, Rhaenyra's out of the picture and claim the throne, and then maybe throw her a bone and say, okay, well, you can be like part of this. But then he takes a knee for her. And I suspect that he's doing this as a show. Like it's also strategic because he's been having these visions and he's been consulting with the witch, and I think that it's just a strategic thing because I don't think that he sees the path as clear as he did in season 1 now that he's had all these visions. So that may have been surprising for us to watch him just take the knee real quick. But then again, after all that he's been seeing in his revelations, I think it was also a strategic move. What I also sort of have an opinion about is that the minor characters, which really sucks that I don't know their names because I'm going to have to sort of describe them so that you know who I'm talking about if you're watching the show also. I think that the minor characters are way more interesting than the major characters. And that's also weird, okay? Because that in the original Game of Thrones show, that wasn't how it was. The minor characters were there and they were interesting, but not more interesting than the major characters. So something is off on that. The major characters are boring in comparison to the meat and potato stories that they're giving to the minor characters. The minor characters, what I mean is like the pirates. Okay, they have this whole fleet of pirates. One of them gets chosen by a dragon and is now like the chosen one, and that's really significant. And then then there was this other pirate who had like, oh my god, I was just wow, like it was so amazing, this monologue he had with like his father or the captain of the pirates or something. It was like a father son type of conversation, but man, it was deep and powerful and packed a punch. And I was like, now that is way more interesting than a lot of these conversations that the major characters have been having. Like he was saying to this guy, they're pirates, and he was saying to this father figure, I think it's actually his father, but the father was saying like, I want to help you. And the pirate guy was saying like, you haven't been in the picture my entire life. I have done everything on my own. And I had to, and he describes the pain that he endured, the emotional pain that he endured because of the absence of his father, and because how him mostly, but him and his mother and whatever was left behind had to deal with looking at everything else while he was God knows where. Very Odysseus kind of style, like Penelope and Telemachus feeling there. And I applauded that put in there because it's very powerful, especially to, in my opinion, American culture. Very powerful as far as what has gone on with wokeism and what has gone on with racism and what has gone on with Roe versus Wade and what has gone on with welfare. I mean, whoo, this was like a really political piece, and it was done through minor characters, not with the major characters. The major characters are all war and strategy and numbers and who's going to beat who and who, and get out of my throne, that kind of thing. It wasn't interesting. But with the minor characters, we got really, really deep stuff. And those pirates have some really great stories that are coming out. So there's two right there. The one that got chosen by the dragon, and the one pirate who was like basically told his father or father figure, like, F you haven't been in my life, and I'm not gonna take your help now because I'm used to doing everything by myself. That was powerful. The other minor characters who are just way more interesting than the major characters, like the witch. I think her name is Alice, and she's been helping or advising or showing things to Damon, and she's way more interesting than the major characters. Like, I would rather watch a half hour of Alice than 10 minutes of Queen Rhaenyra. I mean, Queen Rhaenyra is like snore boring, and Alice is like everything she says, I'm just like, wow, that's cool, way more interesting. And then the other thing is the poor family. There's this one family, there's like a husband, a wife, and I think they have a kid. They're just like these peasants. There's this peasant family, and he actually also got chosen by a dragon to be the hero. So there was this black guy and a white guy that both got chosen by the dragons for heroes for Rhaenyra, and that's way more interesting. Again, these minor characters being way more interesting than the major characters who are just going, me, 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 I want my throne. They're boring. So the poor guy is just a peasant, really, but he stands up, and the dragon likes him, and now he's like a chosen hero also. So there's two chosen dragon riders, two chosen heroes, and they're very interesting stories there. So I mean, they wrapped up things. The Aegon is all messed up from his fall and getting burnt and stuff, and Allison is basically just surrendered. And I guess, I mean, we could plot twist it and wonder if she was committing suicide by going to see Rhaenyra, or was she just hoping that she could surrender, or was she hoping, or was she still plotting some kind of, other plot twist, like nothing she said was true, and they're gonna just, swamp them if they believe her. I guess we won't know until season 3. I don't know. I don't know if she was sincere in her surrender or if it was just another plot twist. I don't know. And that's about it. I mean, season 2 finale was pretty good. I just wish that I could get the names better. I wish, for some reason, getting these names is really difficult. And maybe it's just because they introduced so many characters so soon, and they don't use the names enough to like make me remember. I don't know. I mean, I'm doing the best I can to remember names, but it's tough. And I don't know. I just wish that they would like make the major characters a little more interesting. Even their like helpers, like that one guy, Chris something, the one that was having the affair, I think, with Allison. He was interesting. And then the advisor to Aegon, who's always there trying to give him good advice, he's interesting. But I still like can't. I don't feel certain about their names. I can see their faces, but like their names aren't being used enough, or they're not paying attention enough to a character who might be worthy of considering, interesting, the focus has been on the major characters, and the major characters have been very boring. That's my opinion. But anyway, that's it. That's my season 2 finale review. They did wrap things up well, and it wasn't like a total cliffhanger, just showing that everything is strategically planned for the war or the peace. Whatever is going to be happening in season 3 and the beginning, it's basically like we're going to find out who's going to take the throne, which it looks like it's all set up for Rhaenyra, although she has 2 armies against her. So there is a fight. We know there's a fight coming, and we should know in season 3 who's going to be on the throne and threatened after that. So it just sort of wrapped things up. But I do think my opinion is definitely that the minor characters are more interesting than the major characters.